There's a man you already know. Maybe you see him in the mirror every morning. His name is Marcos. He's 34 years old. He works for the federal government, a stable career he spent 3 years grinding to get into. He earns more than most of his friends. He has health insurance, a pension plan, and a predictable schedule. On paper, Marcos has everything figured out. And yet, every Sunday night, when he opens the bank app before the week starts, there's this quiet, suffocating feeling. Not panic, not crisis. Just the dull awareness that the number on screen doesn't match the life he imagined when he was 27, studying 18 hours a day for a future that was supposed to feel like a rival. Marcos isn't broke, but Marcos isn't free either. And here's what nobody told him, what nobody tells any of us. The salary didn't trap him. The story he told himself about what a good salary means is what built the cage. Let me say something that's going to feel wrong before it feels right. The higher your income, the more sophisticated the trap. Not because the wealthy are stupid, because the trap is designed for people who are smart enough to justify every single step into it. You got the raise, you got the promotion, you got the new job title, and somewhere between those wins and today, your life got more expensive in ways you can barely track. The apartment upgrade, the car that made sense at the time, the subscriptions you don't cancel because each one is only a few dollars, the restaurant habits that became the new normal, the vacations that feel like requirements, not luxuries, because you work hard and you deserve it. And you do deserve it, that's not the problem. The problem is what you think deserve means. Because deserve, for most high earners, has quietly become a synonym for spend. And nobody warned you that this translation would cost you everything that the salary was supposed to buy. There's a concept in behavioral economics called hedonic adaptation. It's the brain's built-in ability to return to a baseline level of satisfaction no matter what happens to you, good or bad. You get a raise, you feel great for a few weeks, and then the new salary becomes the new normal. You upgrade the apartment, and within months, you've stopped noticing the extra space. You buy the car, and by the second year, you're already aware of the models one tier above yours. This isn't a character flaw. This is neurology. Research published in behavioral economics literature shows that people adapt more slowly to social income changes, meaning you adapt faster to your own income increase than you do to watching others surpass you. Web 6. The result is a permanent ratchet. Your spending rises to meet your income, your satisfaction resets, and the comparison engine restarts with a higher reference group. Marcos experienced this in slow motion. When he first passed the civil service exam, his salary was almost double what he'd been making as a junior contractor. He felt rich. He moved to a better neighborhood. He started eating at places he used to walk past. He bought a car because, and this is the sentence that matters, someone in my position should have a car. Not because he needed it, because identity required it. That phrase, someone in my position, is the exact mechanism of the trap. It's not about money. It's about the story of who you are now that the money is different. Lifestyle inflation doesn't happen because you're irresponsible. It happens because income rises, and without a deliberate decision about where the extra money goes, it flows, automatically, invisibly, into higher spending. Web. The fixed costs rise. The apartment lease is signed. The car payment is set. The subscriptions auto-renew. And now Marcos isn't choosing to spend more. He's obligated to. The infrastructure of his lifestyle demands it. This is the first layer of the trap that nobody talks about. The moment a variable expense becomes a fixed cost, you've traded freedom for comfort. And comfort, unlike freedom, doesn't compound. Think about what happens to a savings rate during lifestyle inflation. You get a 20% raise. You feel richer. You upgrade 2 or 3 things: the apartment, the phone, the gym. You start ordering delivery more because you have the money and the time is tight. 6 months later, your expenses have risen by 19%. Your savings rate is almost exactly what it was before the raise. You worked harder, climbed higher, and the gap between income and wealth stayed the same. Research from behavioral finance consistently shows that when spending rises in lockstep with income, wealth accumulation stalls. Web. High earners find themselves in a position where their bank account looks healthy on payday and inexplicably thin before the next one. And the most dangerous part of this is that it feels reasonable. Every individual purchase is justified. Every upgrade was earned. Every expense tells a story about success. But the story is a lie, because wealth isn't built from what you earn. It's built from what you keep. And what you keep is the residue after identity has taken its cut. What Marcos needed wasn't a spreadsheet. He needed a name for what was happening to him. I'm going to give you one. The invisible salary contract. Here's how it works. When your income rises, society, your family, your colleagues, your own internalized image of success writes you an invisible contract. The contract says, at this income level, your lifestyle should look like this. You should live here. You should drive this. You should dress this way. You should vacation at least once a year somewhere that photographs well. The contract is never signed. It's never discussed. But it is enforced through social comparison, through identity pressure, through the quiet shame of appearing to earn well but not live accordingly. The invisible salary contract isn't about greed. It's about belonging. It's about the terrifying possibility of earning more and still feeling like you're not enough. And the contract has a hidden clause that nobody reads at signing. Every upgrade is permanent. Every new baseline is defended. Every lifestyle expansion creates a new floor that feels within months like a minimum requirement. This is why the trap is more sophisticated for high earners. The poor man who can't afford upgrades is protected by constraint. The high earner who can afford everything is protected by nothing except awareness. And most people with good salaries have spent zero time developing awareness because they were too busy working to deserve the income in the first place. There are 3 layers to breaking the invisible salary contract. Not steps, not tips, layers. Because this isn't a behavior problem. It's an architecture problem. You have to rebuild the structure before the behavior can change. Layer 1, the identity audit. Before you touch a single expense, you need to ask yourself one honest question. Which of my spending habits exist because I chose them, and which exist because someone in my position is supposed to have them? This is not a comfortable question. The honest answer, for most high earners, is that the majority of lifestyle expenses fall into the second category. The car is for positioning, not transportation. The address is for status, not comfort. The restaurant tier is for belonging, not pleasure. The identity audit isn't about cutting. It's about reclaiming authorship. You cannot build wealth from expenses you didn't actually choose. Every dollar that flows from obligation, from the invisible contract, is a dollar that was never yours to begin with. Marcos started his identity audit at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, the bank app open in his lap. He looked at his last 3 months of spending and tried to answer honestly. What would I have bought if nobody could see it? The answer surprised him. Most of what he spent money on was visible. Most of what he actually valued was invisible. He wanted time. He wanted optionality. He wanted the feeling, not the appearance, of security. None of that was on the statement. Does your spending reflect who you are or who you think you're supposed to be? Layer 2, the savings rate divorce. Most people save what's left after spending. That model is structurally incompatible with wealth building for high earners, because the lifestyle inflation machine will always consume the surplus. The architecture has to be reversed. You decide what percentage of your income builds wealth before you decide what your lifestyle costs. Not after. Before. This isn't a new concept. It's a version of what economists call pay yourself first. But for high earners, the psychological resistance is different than for low earners. A low earner saves first because they have no choice. Constraint forces the behavior. A high earner saves first only through deliberate identity construction, because they live in a world where every financial institution, every social circle, and every algorithm is optimized to extract that surplus before it reaches an investment account. Automation is part of the solution. Setting up automatic transfers to investment accounts the day after payday. Web. But automation is only sustainable when it's attached to identity. When Marcos decided he was someone who invests first, the saving became structurally easy. When he was still someone who tries to save whatever's left, it was structurally impossible. Same income, different architecture. What would change if the first payment every month went to your future self? Layer 3, the cost of the invisible.
Here's what lifestyle inflation actually costs, and it's not measured in reais or dollars. It's measured in options. Every permanent expense you add to your life reduces the number of choices available to you. It narrows your window of freedom. The expensive apartment doesn't just cost rent, it costs the option to take a lower-paying project you care about. The car payment doesn't just cost installments, it costs the option to go 6 months without a salary while building something.
This is what economists call opportunity cost. But the version that high earners experience is more specific and more brutal. The cost of the invisible life you didn't live, because your lifestyle required you to keep earning at this level or above it forever.
Nassim Nicholas Taleb writes extensively about the concept of optionality, the value of preserving the ability to make future choices, rather than locking yourself into a single path. Webb. The invisible salary contract is optionality's direct enemy. Every upgrade is a lock. Every fixed cost is a chain that feels, because it's made of comfort, like a cushion. The man with the lower salary who kept his expenses flat and invested the difference didn't just end up richer, he ended up free. Marcos's colleague, earning 20% less, took a 1-year leave to run a project in another state. Marcos couldn't. The apartment, the car, the lifestyle. It all required him to stay. He wasn't imprisoned. He was mortgaged. There's a difference in appearance. There's no difference in the cell. What options have you already mortgaged to maintain an appearance? Layer 4. The reference group problem. Here's something that will make you uncomfortable in a specific way. The people you compare yourself to financially, your social reference group, are probably not building wealth either. They're doing the same thing you are, spending to maintain an image of what people at their income level are supposed to look like. The comparison is real. The underlying wealth it implies is usually fictional. Research on hedonic adaptation and social income shows that what influences your long-term sense of financial well-being isn't how much you earn now compared to how much you used to earn. It's how much you earn relative to those around you. Webb, Thel. So if your reference group inflates together, nobody wins. Everyone feels equally adequate, and everyone ends up equally asset poor. The solution isn't to find poorer friends. It's to change what you're comparing. Compare net worth, not lifestyle. Compare optionality, not addresses. Compare what your money is building, not what it looks like from the outside. The problem is that net worth is invisible and lifestyles are photographable. So the wrong metric wins by default, unless you deliberately choose the right one. Who are you comparing yourself to? And does that comparison make you richer or just calmer? Layer 5. The compound cost of delay. Every month you spend your surplus instead of investing it, you're not just losing the money, you're losing the compounding that money could have generated. And compounding, unlike lifestyle expenses, is exponential. The upgrade you bought in year 3 of your career didn't just cost its price, it cost every return that price could have generated over the next 20, 30, 40 years. This is abstract until you make it specific. If Marcos redirected $2,500 per month, the difference between his current lifestyle cost and what he would spend if he hadn't inflated, and invested it at a conservative 8% annual return over 20 years, that's not $360,000. It's over $880,000. The lifestyle inflation didn't cost him $1,500 a month. It cost him almost $1 million Rs over 2 decades. But here's where most people make the critical mistake after they see this number, and it's where everything collapses. But there's something the majority does right here, and it's exactly where everything falls apart. If you've ever opened a bank statement and felt vaguely confused, like you earn well, you don't spend recklessly, and yet the number never seems to grow the way it should, then what I'm about to share is specifically for you. There's a kit I put together called the Free Your Mind Kit. It's not a course. There are no monthly fees. It's 3 tools that work together to do what this video can only start. The first is an ebook, Os 5 Padrões que te mantêm preso. 35 pages of financial psychology diagnosis. Not tips, not rules. An honest map of the 5 invisible behavioral patterns that keep intelligent, hard-working people financially stagnant. Read once, and you will never look at your own spending the same way. The second is the Custo da Estabilidade Calculator, an interactive tool that calculates, in real numbers, what your current lifestyle inflation is costing you over time. Not abstract. Your salary, your fixed costs, your current savings rate, and the real price of inaction in patrimony, time, and the version of freedom you keep postponing. The third is a 21-day audio series, 3 tracks, 7 to 12 minutes each.
designed to work on something the ebook and the calculator can't touch: your identity. You can understand every mechanism in this video perfectly and still wake up the next morning making the same decisions, because the decision comes from who you believe you are, not what you know. These audios work on the identity layer, on how you see yourself in relation to money and freedom. Listen at 6 a.m. or before you sleep. Let them do the work. The ebook creates intellectual awareness. The calculator creates emotional awareness. The audios rebuild identity. All three are necessary. None of them work in isolation. The link is in the description when you're ready. Now, let me talk to the part of you that's already building a counter-argument. My retirement is guaranteed. I'm close to my quinquennial bonus. My situation is different. I have dependents, a mortgage, real obligations. I'm not dismissing any of that. These are real facts. But here's what they're doing psychologically. They're being used as evidence that the cage is actually fine, that the walls are comfortable, that the lock is technically a feature. The pension is real, and the pension will pay you, at best, enough to maintain the lifestyle you built, the lifestyle that already costs too much of your freedom. A guaranteed income at 60 that chains you to a lifestyle you inflated to at 35 is not financial security. It's a slower, more comfortable version of the same trap. The quinquennial bonus is real, and you already know, somewhere you don't look too often, that the bonus will be absorbed before it arrives. There's a mental spending list: the trip, the car maintenance, the thing you've been postponing, and the bonus will clear it, and 3 months later the feeling of abundance will be gone, and the baseline will have quietly risen again. My situation is different. Yes, it always is. That's the trap's cleverest feature. The invisible salary contract is custom-made. It knows your specific income, your specific social group, your specific professional identity. It doesn't look like a trap. It looks like your life. Here's what the good salary actually cost Marcos. Not money. He has money. It cost him the Sunday evenings that feel like a slow suffocation before Monday. It cost him the version of himself that would have started the business at 31 instead of planning to start it when things settle down. It cost him the freedom to say no to the next promotion because the job that pays less might build the thing he actually wants. It cost him the optionality that his lower-paid colleague, the one who invested quietly and kept his costs flat, exercises casually, without drama, while Marcos watches. The good salary didn't buy Marcos freedom. It bought Marcos a more expensive prison, with better furniture, and a pension. You know the Sunday night feeling. You've had it. The sense that the week ahead is identical to the one behind it. That the math of your life is correct, but the life itself is somehow off. That feeling isn't anxiety. It's information. It's the part of you that remembers there was a different version of this story, and it's still possible. Just not from here. Not from inside the invisible salary contract. The shift isn't from high earner to monk. Marcos doesn't have to sell the car, cancel everything, and live in austerity. That's not transformation. That's just a different kind of reaction, a pendulum swing that won't hold. The shift is structural and psychological, from using stability as an excuse to using stability as a base. The civil service job, the guaranteed salary, the pension, these aren't the problem. They were never the problem. They are, if used correctly, the most powerful financial foundation available to most people in this country. Guaranteed income is a platform. The mistake is treating the platform like a destination. When Marcos finally understood the invisible salary contract, when he stopped defending it and started seeing it, the first thing he did wasn't dramatic. He sat down on a Saturday morning with a coffee and a notebook and answered one question. If my income stayed exactly the same for the next 10 years, what could I build if I treated it as a platform instead of a ceiling? The answer was specific. Not freedom in the abstract, not wealth as a concept, a rental property generating passive income, an investment portfolio with enough in 5 years to fund a 2-year sabbatical, a consulting structure on the side that started small but compounded. These weren't dreams. They were the mathematical result of redirecting what the lifestyle inflation had been absorbing without changing the income at all. The salary didn't need to change. The story needed to change. Marcos isn't a success story yet. He's 3 months into a different architecture. The expensive apartment lease still has 8 months to run. The car payment is still there. These things don't dissolve overnight, but the identity shifted. He stopped being someone who earned well and spent accordingly. He started being someone who earns as a mechanism to build, and the lifestyle serves the building, not the other way around. The first step wasn't the spreadsheet. The first step was the identity audit. That 2 a.m. Tuesday with the bank app, asking honestly, what am I choosing and what am I performing? What are you performing? I want to close with something specific, not a summary, not a list. If this video found something real in you, if there was a moment where you thought, this is me, this is exactly the thing I haven't been able to name, then you already know the next step isn't information. You've had information. You've read the articles, maybe run the numbers, maybe started the budget and let it lapse. Information isn't the gap. The gap is identity. The gap is the story you tell yourself about what a person who earns what you earn is supposed to do with that money. And that story doesn't change in a YouTube comment section. But something starts there. I want you to write one word in the comments, not a paragraph, not a question. One word that describes what you actually want your financial life to look like. Not the word you'd use in a meeting, not the word that sounds responsible. The real word: freedom, optionality, time, peace, build, choose your word, write it. The Mind of Value community isn't a group of people who found the right tips. It's a group of people who got tired of performing wealth and decided to actually build it. If that sounds like something you want to be part of, subscribe. Not for the content, for the way of thinking. We don't do life hacks here. We do architecture. The good salary was never the problem. It was always the best raw material you had. The question was always what you were going to build with it. Stop building the cage, build the exit.